Yes. How's that video I did less than 12 hours ago holding up? You know, the one where I asked, could UConn beat South Carolina with a thumb, declaring Paige Bueckers the best player in women's college basketball? In hindsight, the video should have been, can Paige Bueckers and UConn beat the best freshman player in women's college basketball? Now relax, Southern Cal. I'm just going for the joke. Juju is the best in my mind, but man, Hidalgo was money and everything is advertised tonight. I am pretty sure she has a house at the UConn basket as she got to the basket seemingly at will anytime she wanted. She went 14 for 24, went 3 for 5 from three-point land, 10 rebounds, 6 assists for 34 points. Now, yes, she did have 4 turnovers, but I think Ivy will be able to forgive her for that. Hidalgo had some help from her friends as well as Maddie Westbelt. She was money as well, going 9 for 15, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for 23 points. The other one, Citron, who's recovered nicely or come back nicely from her knee injury, went 6 of 13, 6 rebounds, 6 assists for 15 points. In comparison, UConn had 1 great effort, 2 solids, and 2... So first, let's look on the positive. The UConn hero of the night was Aaliyah Edwards, going 10 for 14 for 23 points, 11 rebounds in the third quarter. She was just, they had nothing to stop her, basically. But eventually, Notre Dame packed the paint just to limit her devastation, as you would say, and dared UConn to shoot from outside, and they fell short, obviously. Ashlyn Shade was solid. She went 6 for 12, but 0 for 6 from three-point line, and that's where they really needed somebody to deliver. So Shade got 12 points. KK Arnold was 4 for 10, went 2 for 2 from the three-point line and had 11 points. So her numbers were good, if you like, on paper, but she suffers in comparison because Hidalgo just did whatever she wanted and got to the basket whenever she wanted. And that's on KK as well. It's hard not to look at the Notre Dame freshman and compare it to your own freshman. But UConn was really hurt by 2 things, and KK as well. The first one was Nika Muhl. So she went 0 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 turnovers. And you would look at that and you'd go, my God, her numbers are terrible and I should be blasting her for that. No, that wasn't the real problem for her, because if you looked at it, UConn was actually plus 13 with her on the court and minus 26 with her out of the game, and that was the major problem. Geno trusted her to play with 4 fouls in the fourth, and really, he didn't have many options, to be honest. And straight away, in the start of the fourth, she got a ridiculous foul, like trying to challenge a pass where she inadvertently ran into the player. She definitely deserved the Ken Mulkey shake of the head, which she gave to Angel Reese. I hope Geno gave her some of that, because that was just a silly foul and a silly judgment on her part. And once that happened, that put a lot of pressure on KK to run the offense as well as Shade, and their defense just really broke down. Geno pointed to that moment and just said, we weren't the same defensive team once Muhl went off the court. And it was a big ask to put Shade and KK in that position. He described them as being, he was like, hey, they're going to be really, really, really good. But, you know, this is how you learn from those moments, because there was more pressure on them and the defense broke down because they did not communicate. They had several breakdowns on the pick and roll, which is why Westbeld got so many open looks from 3. And as well, Hidalgo could put up a house right near the basket. Now, with Muhl fouling out at the start of the fourth, it was chance for Ice Brady to step up, and it really just did not happen. She went 1 for 5, and they needed somebody to be able to hit a shot from outside the key, and she wasn't able to do that, unfortunately for her. And really, UConn you could tell their offense was discombobulated all throughout the fourth quarter. I wonder if Geno should have gone with Cadence Samuels a little bit sooner, maybe at the 5-minute mark, just to try to switch it up. I know she was in at the end of the game, but I think he really got her in with about 2 minutes left when the game was gone. During the press conference, Geno rued that they didn't go back to Edwards probably enough, but he said it was tough because they were stacking it so much inside, but he wondered if they should have gone back more to pick and roll with Paige Bueckers and her, because they had a few nice little looks where Bueckers gave her a few nice assists, and it looked really good. Now, the one that's going to take the majority of blame pie and just take the most hits from this is Paige Bueckers. She went 5 for 17 for 17 points. Now, Geno's take was that she took a shot to the head like she hit the floor. I didn't see that. And then the PR person said, no, it was a poke to the eye. But his take was she was not really the same after taking that shot and felt that she was off the rest of the game. Now, the critics will argue, hey, that's excuse making. That's the excuse machine. She's NIL girl and you're paid to deliver in the big games and don't tell me about it. It's much like the quarterback. Don't give me excuses. Go out there and deliver. And she did not do that. And she will take the hits, unfortunately, for her. I mean, it was clear that she had shots that she usually makes and she was missing those. And that's just basketball. Some nights you hit them, some nights you don't. So fine. I thought it was really, if you're a UConn supporter, the thing you would take away from is, man, Paige was having an off game, and we were in that game in the third and start of fourth quarter, and it really flipped once Nika got her fifth. I really think Aubrey Griffin would have made a difference in this game, but you can't really complain to Notre Dame about injuries, obviously, as they've lost Olivia Miles. So boo-hoo, everybody has injuries, and you just move on. UConn lost the 3-point battle, so Notre Dame went 7 for 17 for 41%, where UConn was 4 for 14 for 28%. That's one they have to lose. They lost a rebound battle, which they'll usually lose 37 to 27, so that's by 10. And then Notre Dame, one of the few things they won was the turnover battle by 4, but that's not good enough. They need to almost win the 3-point battle every night, especially when you're going against a quality team like Notre Dame. So where from here? Notre Dame, any night they're deadly and they have a good chance in the tournament. It just depends if it goes their way and they have their hot nights. Who knows? They could make a run all the way to the Final Four or Elite Eight. Just depends on how it goes, what their draw is, and how it develops. But they're very similar in some ways to UConn, as they've been decimated by injuries. Speaking of injuries, they mentioned during the broadcast that Olivia Miles is officially out for the season, which was, everybody expected that. That wasn't a big surprise. That was definitely an ACL. There was no way she was going to play. I am interested to see her and Hidalgo play next year. That'll be an interesting combination, see how they share the ball. With UConn, this loss is a big hit because, one, it's just the perception, hey, they've been eating off inferior competition in the Big East. That puts more pressure on this game versus South Carolina. And on Paige Bueckers, can you step up to big competition and deliver in the games, not just eat on the little minnows in the Big East? But overall, this game really does not change my opinion of UConn. They are too dependent on young freshmen, and freshmen will be freshmen, and that's what you had tonight as well. They can only win if they win the 3-point battle in most cases. In addition, UConn is dependent on Paige Bueckers being a star, and if not a star, at least very above average. And the only star on the court tonight was Hannah Hidalgo. As Geno said, she's damn good. All right, thanks a lot for watching. Hope to see you next time. Please leave your comments and poison below.